Hello! Welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, I'm Jamie. I read a ton of books. And I am wrapping up November. It is the evening of the 1st of December, so I'm not that late this time. A little bit, but not quite. My excuse this time for not being done already with recording this video is I got new kittens. So, yeah, they're a good excuse. They're cute. But yeah, so I finished some books in November. I finished a ton of ARCs, and I finished some print books. So I still have some that are continuing into December. But my stack of books that I'm done with that get to go away are here. And most of them you've seen already in previous videos this past month. One that I finished fairly recently is this one, Dreams of a Final Theory, about looking for a grand unifying theory that brings all the physics equations together into one perfect system. Because they don't all work on the same equation, basically. Gravity and the electroweak force and the the other forces. Oh my gosh, there's gravity, there's the forces that hold the gluons together in the center of the atom, there's the force that keeps the atom holding together, and then there's the forces that do electromagnetism, I think, and gravity. That would be 4. Yeah. I think those are the forces. Oh my gosh. I did have 2 years of a physics major. Anyway, so the grand unified theory is the equation that brings it all together into one perfect theory, and unifies the scales of Euclidean geometry, so what we experience basically, with Newtonian physics that goes with that, and the quantum level, where things can be in two places basically at the same time, sort of, but not quite. There's a lot of counterintuitive stuff that goes on in quantum that only happens because it's on such fine scales and for such tiny durations that it's outside of our experience. Although, when we're looking at satellites and satellite functioning, we do have to take quantum into account. So, like GPS satellites do actually have a quantum adjustment in their calculations to be able to actually pinpoint where you're sitting when you look for your, where you are on your GPS map. So it's all very relevant, but we lack a perfect equation to bring it all together. So this is kind of a science history looking at the search for that grand unifying theory. I'm not quite done with volume 3 of Capital, but I'm doing the rest of it as an audiobook. I will still reference the print book if I need to, but it is in the stack because it's basically done, and it will go away when I finish the audiobook. And I've got Genome, which I talked about already. I think I did, which was kind of fun but dated. It involved junk DNA, which is a concept we don't use anymore, or at least generally we don't. Because junk DNA is the DNA between the genes, except that if you take the proteins that come with the DNA and that glom onto the DNA and change how it's read by the RNA, you can actually change where the code is read. Like, if you cover up one start sequence, then when it's read, it'll pick up wherever the next start sequence is further on down the line, which changes the code. So a lot of that junk DNA isn't. And a lot of it is left behind from things that don't need to be in our DNA anymore, but sometimes they do. And it's fun stuff. And a lot of that is after this book. So actually, I would love to take another genetics class at some point and see where we've gotten to now. Because some of what I've been seeing on lectures on YouTube is way beyond anything that I've studied. And makes the stuff that I studied in my last time on genetics seem really dated. So, anyway, I still recommend it. Just if you're going to read Genome by Matt Ridley, just keep in mind that it is genetics as it was, not genetics as it is now. A lot of it's still true, just with some caveats that we know more about how it works now, and there's more going on sometimes. But things like identifying genes that do certain things, that part's fine. Anyway, and then there was The Perfect Storm. That one there on the bottom. That one was really good. One of those storms where it was a combination of a hurricane-like storm system plus another storm system that kind of spun up together with the jet stream involved and created a very fast developing storm that killed several people, drowned a bunch of boats, and caused a lot of surprising damage in a time where we didn't have weather satellites that could just look at it. Which is a fascinating thought now, because now we just pull up the weather satellites on like Weather Underground or something, and we just look at it like, oh, that looks like a spinny storm. I'll bet there's a storm there. But back then, we couldn't do that yet. And then The Other Bennett Sister was the only novel that I read in print. That was good. That was the retelling of Pride and Prejudice from Mary's perspective, and it was really good. By Janice Hadlow, if anyone wants to read that. And then I Am Malala was a good book about sort of gender issues and growing up in an area that I'm glad I didn't grow up in. So yeah, that's pretty much all of it. And I will gloat once again about the fact that this is done, because it is done. So 12 Caesars is done. I have a few books that I'm carrying on into December because I ran out of time, and so this is the one that I've been reading in sprints. This is The Untold Story of the Talking Book, which is a history book about audiobooks. Very appropriate. And it's really good. And I'm going to have to write a blurb about it so that I can convince other people they need to read it at the bookstore where I'm working as a volunteer. Yay. Let's see. I've got this book, A Bold, Fresh Piece of Humanity. Yes, by Bill O'Reilly. This is a autobiography / memoir, which I got started with. There's a bookmark in it. There we go. There's a bookmark. It's started. It's not done yet. I might finish it in December. If I don't, I didn't get that far in it, and I'll just carry it over to next year and probably put the bookmark back at the beginning and start over. And then my other audiobook that I started and haven't finished yet, besides Capital Volume 3, is Rocket Boys by Homer H. Hickam Jr. So this one I will finish because I don't want to waste the download, or waste the checkout, I suppose is more accurate. because our library system added a daily checkout limit for the streaming audiobooks, which is so annoying. So now I've got them checked out. I'm going to use them because otherwise I have to keep in mind whether I've checked anything out in like the last 24 hours. It might be more than that because I keep getting errors that I've already used it. So I don't know what the limit is now. But it's very frustrating. So I will finish it just because I don't want to have to deal with that. Yeah, and then I do have my TBR put together for December. That will be a separate video, so this will actually be fairly short. I am doing the reindeer readathon, so that will be in my TBR video, and you'll be able to see what my plans are for that. I'm on Team Candy Cane. It's not a very hardcore readathon, but it is competitive. So I will be logging the books that I've selected for points, but you can only, you can do all the prompts, and then if you've completed them all, you can go back and redo one prompt a second time. So it's not going to be the sort of readathon where I'm still reading for it at the end of the month, because I'll have read way more than the number of prompts worth of books by then, theoretically. Unless something comes up, you never know. But theoretically, it will be one of those readathons that I can be done with and focusing on something else soon. So we'll see how that goes. And that may change too. I'm not really sure. I've not done reindeer readathon before, so I don't know how much they do with adapting it mid-month. I know some of the ones I've done this year, they realize that they're running out of prompts for too many readers halfway through the month and add in, okay, well, if you run out of prompts, you can do this again, or, that kind of stuff. Anyway. But I'm not banking on that. It's just for fun. Anyway, so I will wrap this up, let it upload. You guys get a short video from me for the wrap-up. I will do a separate one for the arcs, because that one is going to be mostly me talking, and this lighting is really nice and dramatic, but I'm not sure about if it was just me talking. I'll think about it. Anyway, so I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know if you read any of the books that I read that I've shown off so far. And how did your November go? Yeah, and I'll check with you in the next video about your arcs. And then after that, about your December plans. Talk to you guys soon. Bye!